We just started texting a lot and FaceTiming a lot and just kind of hit it off.
We dated for about 6 months, and then right after that, things kind of fell apart.
I was still immature, had a lot to learn, and then the way it ended was really messy. I really hurt her.
We rekindled like my first year of college, and then we also rekindled this year, which is my 4th year of college.
I called her, is it me? Can I just not get over my first love?
I got out of a relationship a few months ago. Right after that is when me and Justin started talking again.
Hey.
What is something you regret that you failed to do or say in a past relationship?
My most recent relationship, and what I regret or failed to do, was stand up for myself. I just destroyed myself, my whole identity. I cut off my friends because I was told that for whatever reasons they weren't really my friends. They didn't really care about me. I was told, don't talk about your interests, don't talk about this stuff because I don't care. I let it drag on because if I did that, then the relationship would continue and my partner would be happy and she'd be happy, and it happened for a reason. And it made me who I am now, and it formed boundaries for myself and how to stand up for myself and knowing who I was and forming my identity. So, when was the last time that you really cried?
Okay, for me at least, it was on the FaceTime that we had a few weeks ago, and we had talked about like, oh, what are we? What should we be? And I got really emotional. I think mostly I had decided that we should have ended things. I don't know, I felt really sad that I decided to do that, and I also felt like I didn't express myself in the best way possible. Yeah, I think as I was just like talking about it and like telling you like how I felt about the situation, like and like you, I think that's when I got emotional and started crying.
Last time I really cried, yeah, was that same situation. It was the drive back. We hung out all day, and then I was about to, you walked into my car, and then you got in the car and you're like, I got something to tell you. And we all know what happened, but I felt like I had no say in it. I felt very blindsided and led on at the time, and that's how I feel that it was. But I forgive you now, of course. I was just trying to be stoic, and then as soon as you walked back and I saw you got back into your apartment safely, I just drove off, and yeah, instantly I called my mom, and just I couldn't even get the words out. She said, what's wrong? I just couldn't even tell her. I just started crying. And
search your name in the other person's messages. Yeah. Do we have to do this?
I'll do it.
If you don't have to do anything, for sure.
Okay, fine.
All right, you guys get 5 more seconds.
Okay.
Damn, look, she deleting messages. Wait, you deleting stuff?
Go ahead. And we're only going to take 10 seconds to look through the other person's phone.
And he had his answer right there. But let's just see what happens.
No.
Okay.
Switch.
Okay.
And then Lucy.
Not for my end. Is it good?
Guys, before we go on, anything you want to say about that?
I don't have anything to say.
All right, moving on then.
I guess I think you know what I was gonna say.
What were you gonna say?
So how much you guys talk?
Like here and there.
You said it was just him reaching out.
I guess kind of both. Are you sure? I don't want to take it.
How much you guys talk? Damn. Do you want him back?
Or do we want to take a breather?
I'm good to go forward with the questions. Do you want to go forward with the questions?
Yeah, that's it.
Is it my card or your card?
That's mine. Okay, perception box question. What is your most consistent and greatest fear?
I think coming from like an immigrant, low-income household, like money was such like a big topic in our house. And especially since I'm graduating, I'm thinking about like what I'm gonna do after graduation. Like I need to have a job. And so I think my most consistent and greatest fear is like not having enough money to like keep myself up on my own feet without having to like rely on other people. But yeah.
Okay, we're going to pause right here, and we're going to take a 5-minute break. You want to hang out here for a second? You want to come out with us?
Okay.
Okay. Do we want to keep moving through the questions? Is that okay?
Yeah, the question of what greatest fear, I was going to touch on it anyways, but Now, no better way to talk about it. Yeah, fear of not having control over things, being abandoned, and being played. And well, I'm saying this because I care about you, about us, about my own feelings and emotions. And so, yeah, I'm hurt. I'm really hurt, Diane. Thought I had a grasp on things, and I really didn't.
The term situationship, it doesn't always have like clear boundaries because it's not like a fully committed relationship, being exclusive or like not being exclusive until it's stated. And that's what it's like for me. Like if it's not stated, then I'm gonna assume that it's not exclusive.
And the text that I read is saying me and Justin are not a situationship, so. So what do you think this is then?
Like we're not like, there's like no full commitment, and so I didn't think it was like something we had to discuss, or I don't know.
You said you needed more ambiguity, a little more space. I respected that. Well, if we're gonna go with what we had said out loud was, oh, we're just friends, I feel like you would tell a friend what's going on.
At times I feel like I do have those feelings for you, and then at times I feel like I don't. I think I haven't felt that spark the past few days.
Yeah, I could tell. I knew you were distant.
And so like right now, that's where I'm at. Like I feel like we have really good conversation, and it's like fun, but I don't. That's all I know right now.
Okay.
And at times, like I do want to take a step forward, and at times I don't. But it's too like uncertain to say.
Maybe rewind back to the whole, you kind of blindsided me with the just friends, and then, okay, I'll get over it, I'll move on. And then 3 days go by, and suddenly, hey, I need to talk to you. There's some things I left unsaid, I need to tell you. Okay, and she needs to tell me this because, right, to give me the reasons that I deserve. And then I hop on the phone call, and it's not that at all. It's, I said everything, I regret the way I said things, I wasn't trying to lead you on, I feel emotionally connected to you, I feel physically attracted to you, but things went too fast, I was overwhelmed. All very valid things, of course, yes. And then we agreed to very, clear, okay, just friends. And I remember I took a little bit of a step back to see where your energy was, and you were initiating a lot, wanting to hang out. We hung out as friends, it was great. Although with a lack of clear boundaries, it always felt ambiguous, and I was trying to be okay with it. And it's not a label, it's not like, I want boyfriend, girlfriend, I want clarity. And this whole just friends thing, no flirting, no intimacy, was pretty clear for a while, until it wasn't. And we spent the night in one of those places, and the way and now the past week where we bend the rules a little bit. And
Well, we just witnessed a crime, a homicide. You can literally see the moment where that boy's life flashed before his eyes and then drained from his body. You can see the moment where the lights went out. It's like his entire sense of reality short-circuited on camera. It is hard to watch someone who seems to be genuine being strung along, gaslit, used, lied to, and then met with indifference and excuses when confronted. This is manipulation. It is emotionally abusive. There's a little song that says, you need to know when to hold them, when to fold them, when to walk away, and when to run. And that man needs to run, Forrest, run. The problem is that it gets harder and harder to walk away the more that you invest yourself and the more that you allow poor treatment. This is called the sunk cost fallacy. Think of a gambling addict. They keep losing, but the more that they lose, it's like the more that they need to keep playing to try to get back what they have lost. And this is what happens in abusive relationships, in one-sided relationships. You place yourself in a position of energetic debt to the abuser. You give them all of your self-worth, and then you can't walk away from them until they give it back. The problem is that they never do. They just hold your worth for ransom while you jump through hoops like a trick pony and play the fool. And this hits home for me because I know these dynamics on a personal level. It's like the back of my hand. In my earliest relationships, I found myself on the receiving end of deception and ambiguity and cheating, but I also think it's important to confess that I also became the villain for a time. And so I've seen manipulation and deception and betrayal from both sides. And looking back, what I now know is that as much as those relationships had hurt me, the truth is I had also been enabling them to hurt me. It's like if someone punches you in the face over and over and over and you keep allowing it, yes, they are in the wrong, but if you keep just standing there, at what point does it become your fault for not simply walking away from such a person if it is within your power to do so?
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
No matter if they are friend, foe, family, or lover, don't beg for love. Don't live in limbo. Don't give yourself to people who are not sure about you. Don't choose someone who isn't choosing you. And this is why I advise people to not pretend to be friends with someone with whom that you want to be more than friends with. It gets too convoluted. The lack of integrity will split your soul at the seams. And to pretend to be friends is not only lying to them, it is lying to yourself. If they tell you that they just want to be friends or that they are not sure about you, while you are romantically invested and interested, then you are investing in unrequited love. It is a one-way street that only leads to a dead end. You are following them around like a lost little puppy, hoping that someday they turn around and pet you and maybe take you home. You are desperately following their breadcrumbs, starving for their attention and love. I will say though, I do find when it comes to situationships, it is usually women who are the victims, not men. That is, if you define situationships as sexual activity without commitment. You won't find many men complaining about being friends with benefits with a woman. It's usually women who are being hurt by men who are sleeping with them, but not committing to them. Whereas for men, typically they get caught in what most people would call the friend zone. This is where a woman keeps a man in her spider web, often multiple men, and she feeds on their attention and validation and resources, etc., at her convenience. And she does not reciprocate and has no intention of ever being with any of these men, romantically or physically. And a lot of guys end up in these webs, being fed on by women who actually want to be with someone else. And these women typically know exactly who that guy is, whether it's some ex that they're not over or that guy that she's hooking up with but is not committing to her. Women like this are of extremely poor character. They are parasitic. They are wounded. And while we can acknowledge that, as accountability is for everyone, as a man, I'm going to speak to the men for a minute. Fellas, you can point fingers and demonize women for this behavior, but that is just foolish and it is a victim mentality. Don't put yourself on some pedestal and think you're above such behavior. 99% of men who are mad at women would be doing the same thing that they cry about if they had the facilities and access to do it. Taking as much benefit as possible for as little investment as possible. This is human nature. So if we want to talk about solutions like adults, let's look through the lens of accountability and see that more often than not, men put themselves into these webs. I have seen it time and time again. A lot of guys are being sucked dry, and not in the good way, but they haven't even made their intentions and desires known. So if you haven't asked her to be your girlfriend or your fiance or your wife, getting used after that point is a you problem. Quit pretending to be her friend, face your fear of rejection, and make your intentions crystal clear. And if you have asked her to be committed to you and she makes excuses and keeps one foot out the door and doesn't seem to want to get into the vehicle of the relationship with you, if you continue to put your eggs in that basket, that also begins to become a you problem. Bottom line, don't be like the guy in this video. You are worth more. And I hope that making that video was a light bulb moment, turning point for that man, and that he walked away. I hope that he didn't overcorrect into some sort of deep villain arc, because that does an entirely different type of damage. I actually think that it is easier to heal from the things that have been done to us than the things that we choose to do.